Good evening, soul brothers and sisters. This is Tangi Cox, the Black Sheep, and I am propositioning you to entertain just a little while of being in reality. And this is gonna hurt soul sisters and brothers because a lot of us cannot accept reality. I empower you to, for 1 year, to subscribe to the reality temple on earth. And at the end of 12 months, draw your conclusion of what have you learned in that amount of time. I empower you. You will never, ever, ever think, feel, or entertain nonsense ever again, period. I would like to see my soul sisters and brothers awaken. This requires time. You need to spend about a year watching, researching, and looking. The reality temple on earth is life-changing, and I stand on that.
We didn't have a choice. We was already doing for ourselves. Even with all the oppression, we were accomplishing things far greater than the black and blacks have done. They've done very little, except bring you the teaching, the belief, because that's all teachings is. I believe. We don't need to believe no more. We need to know.
What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Nobel Prize-winning civil rights leader, a minister, and an activist. Did you know he also fought for economic equality in the U.S.? 10 News reporter Phil Buck shows you how his legacy lives on today.
We all know the famous "I have a dream" speech. It's the first thing kids learn about Dr. King in school, but Martin Luther King Jr. fought for much more than just civil rights. Toward the end of his life, Dr. King started an even larger movement called the Poor People's Campaign. And it's a movement that still continues today. The Poor People's Campaign calls for more radical and controversial change, addressing economic injustice across the country.
That became a threat to the economic engine here in the United States because Dr. King was calling for fairness. He was calling for a revolution of values in America.
50 years ago, in the spring of 1968, an estimated 3,000 protesters came to Washington, D.C. and set up camp along the National Mall. They were seeking economic justice and called it Resurrection City. They stayed for 6 weeks. Well, the group had arrived from across the United States in what was called a Poor People's Campaign, an effort that was originally organized by Dr. Martin Luther King before his assassination in April of 1968.
The Poor People's Campaign is an extraordinary effort to bring poor people who are Native American, Mexican American, whites, and blacks to camp in Washington until there's real anti-poverty legislation passed.
Tragically.
Filming. They went to Mississippi, they were on the buses, they filmed the buses, and all the way through to Resurrection City. Use of the audio tape rather than an interview on camera, my husband felt would make people more willing to express what they really felt, because they wouldn't be tied
Go ahead.
Oh, fucking God.
I think sometimes when people think of hunger, they think of the images of, you know, kids you may see with distended bellies or super, super skinny. And actually, that's not really what hunger looks like in the United States for the most part. When you think of what foods are most affordable, that is a lot about processed food, right? Ramen comes up a lot, chips, other things that you can purchase for not a lot of money that does fill up your stomach and makes you feel full. And so when you look at families with difficulty in food security, you often see much higher rates of obesity because when the food is available, folks want to eat more because there's an unpredictability about the food supply. And also, when you are looking to really stretch your food dollar, sometimes it's the least healthy foods that are the most affordable.
What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
Something they laughed about. But this is the reality. They laugh at Donald Trump because he made a statement that in this town, Springfield, Ohio, somewhere, I think it's Springfield, Ohio, the immigrants coming in and they eating people's pets. And folks laugh and don't believe that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is the reality. This is the reality. The reality is you don't know. You don't believe it, but you really don't know. But this is the reality. You have thousands of people coming across the border. Not a few hundred. You have thousands. Some of them are not connected to no kind of welfare system, or they're not getting enough. So if you hungry, you're going to eat. And if there's a dog, if there's a cat, if there's a rat that's available, yeah, I'm going to eat it. You don't think like that because you get three square meals a day. So I can't imagine. There was an episode on Good Times back in the 1970s, and this lady was not eating dogs, but she was eating dog food. This was the 1970s. When you're hungry, or rather when you're starving people gonna eat whatever they can find. When you're hungry, I don't want that. I don't eat that. I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat that. When you starving, I eat dog, I eat cat, I eat rat, I eat some rotten tomatoes, whatever I got to eat. So you have thousands of immigrants coming across the border. Why do you think it's beyond imagination that they're not, some of them don't care? During the war, during World War II, because of lack of food, folks started eating their horses. Exactly, Nola, man. Folks start eating their horses. That's why when you go to Europe, they will put horse on the menu because they got used to eating horse because of the war. Because I don't have no food. When you're starving, when you're in survival mode, you're going to eat. I don't eat this. And especially, look, Exactly. It's called a delicacy now. Exactly. See, you live here in this country, and a lot of you are comfortable. You get your 3 meals a day, you're living good. You don't know what suffering is about. But it's coming to you. You're going to find out what it is. Believe me, these folks mess around and cause World War III. You're going to find out the hard way. You're going to learn that dog tastes good. You're going to learn that cat tastes good. You're going to learn that rat tastes good. Some of us going to learn how human beings taste good. The first Americans became cannibals in this country. Exactly, Nola, man. I did too. I was raised on mayonnaise sandwiches. You're right. Mayonnaise sandwiches and ice cubes. Ice water. That's what we had. But see, when you are comfortable, you don't think about these things. You only think about yourself, because I'm comfortable. But what about the people that's not comfortable? What about the people that's suffering? What about the people that did not get justice? You're only thinking about yourself. Selfish ass people. We're selfish. So we'll see. Next 8 weeks, we're going to see how all this comes out. We're going to see if Kamala Harris gets the presidency. You're going to see. And believe me, as long as I live and have breath, when your Kamala Harris mess up, cause World War III, I'm going to be here until the internet cuts off. You damn fool, you was warned, told. This woman ain't no leader. She's being told by these other folks. She don't have no ideas. Trump wasn't in a position to really hammer this lady the way she needs to be hammered.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting our show together, we're polishing up our act. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now. We're rolling up. Stopping us now. We got the groove. Ain't no stopping.
Hope you'll climb aboard next week on these same stations, and you can bet your last money it's all gonna be a stone gas, honey. Always in parting, we're gonna wish you love, peace, and soul.